What's happening, guys? Silent Mike, Mark Bell's Powercast, Super Training Gym. Just here to tell you guys, I am not remarkable. I am not a world record holder. I am not a national or international weightlifting sensation. But what I have done is dedicated thousands of hours, many years, to not only studying, but lifting itself and becoming the best lifter I can. And it has yielded results that I'm proud of and that have grown me not only mentally but physically into not only the athlete, the coach, and the person that I am today. Is all this hard work in the gym, outside the gym with nutrition, sleep, learning about programming, worth it if I'm not going to hold a world record? I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about my story, my journey in the weightlifting world, and the powerlifting world as a coach and as an athlete. I started lifting weights around 7th or 8th grade, purely for basketball reasons. I wanted to go to the NBA. The first goal I remember really setting out for myself was I wanted to play on the varsity team as a freshman in high school. I hit my growth spurt pretty early. I was about 5'8", maybe I'm 5'9" now, maybe 160, 170 pounds or so in 7th and 8th grade. My father was always super supportive of everything I wanted to do, especially in sports and school and stuff too, but he found me a trainer. I started working out with him just twice a week or so in 8th grade. My strength coach was a super smart guy. He had a bodybuilding background, but also athletics background. He coached and trained many, mostly NFL guys to be honest, and D1 football guys, but basketball fits right in. He did a couple MMA guys. He had some really good overseas players. It was kind of just like a 5-day split. We do different types of hamstring curls, body weight stuff, partner like GHRs, things to really beef up our posterior chain without getting too beat up by the barbell. He was a very smart guy, taught me a lot about lifting, taught me a lot about hard work. I did end up reaching my goal. I made the varsity team as a freshman, and then I ended up starting on the varsity team as a freshman. I worked out with my trainer for the next 3 or 4 years, all through high school. My sophomore year of high school or so, I got a little bit more lazy, just I think as all high schoolers did. At that time, I could tell, and I talked to my varsity coach, who taught me a lot about fitness as well. I just need to change things if I really want to take my game to the next level. I started working my tail off. It would go high school, then I'd go straight to the weight room with my coach, come home, eat, do my homework, then I'd go to a local gym, more of like a family gym, where they had a basketball court, get some shots up, do extra cardio because I got a little overweight, and then back to school the next day, etc. I'm in my junior year, in the best shape I probably ever have in my life, even still to this day. I was pretty lean, I was fast as shit, I was jumping through the roof, and I was strong. I wasn't benching 315, 400 pounds in high school. You guys know Mark Bell, you know, he was just a strong fucker. He benched, I think, 405 his senior year of high school. I'd say maybe my junior year, maybe I benched 225. I don't really remember, to be honest. We didn't really squat and we really didn't deadlift. I then moved on to junior college basketball, and I just kind of went into like a mini state of depression, I guess. You know, nothing crazy, but I was eating a bunch of junk food. I wasn't enjoying school. I wasn't enjoying basketball, and that's when I got to my heaviest weight. I was about 230 pounds or so, but not a muscle. I was working out a little bit, but nothing serious, and I was pretty overweight. About 18 or 19 years old, there's about 6 months where there's no activity. I was going to school, but I wasn't playing basketball anymore. I wasn't working out, I wasn't doing anything. At that point, I knew it was time to change. You know, I had worked so hard my entire life towards these goals of college basketball or the NBA, and now it went nowhere. Just couldn't live with myself being that way, being overweight, not being athletic, not doing the things I love, and not doing the things I'm good at. I think I'm a good athlete. This is kind of where powerlifting started. I got myself back in the gym, just training by myself 5 to 6 days a week. My lifting was kind of squats on the Smith machine, a lot of bench press, some leg press, a lot of pull downs, dumbbell work, kind of typical bodybuilder stuff, and I would just kind of train whatever felt good at the time. I was doing research at the time, you know, bodybuilding.com, T-Nation, whatever I could to try to learn and absorb all I got. I got obsessed with it. I started thinking about the weights I was going to lift tomorrow, thinking about how I'm going to get better, how I'm going to get in better shape, and how I'm going to get stronger. I got back to like a healthiest weight, probably 190 pounds or so. But around age 20, 21, I started to understand these things. How protein plays a role, how carbs play a role, how fats play a role. I just read as much as I could of every expert I could on the internet. I started coaching high school basketball as soon as I stopped playing basketball. So this was kind of my first, coaching role. 15 to 18-year-old dudes can be tough, man. They always try to pump their chest out at you. I'm only 21. Some of these kids are 17. Why would they listen to me? So I had to lead by example with my work ethic, lead by example with my knowledge, earn their respect, and then they followed along. Along came powerlifting. I found out what the hell powerlifting was. I learned how to squat. Do I know what my first squat was? I don't really remember. I remember hitting 225 to 315 pretty fast and pretty early in both the squat and the deadlift. At this time, age 21 to 23, I probably benched maybe 290 or so. Shit form, I'm sure, but I benched it, touched my chest, came up. I was basically doing a 3-day-a-week routine with squats, bench, and dead with a bunch of accessory work. Soon after, I just kind of knew that college and basketball weren't the route I was going to take for the rest of my life. Did I know where I was going to go? Not necessarily, but I knew I was pretty good at coaching basketball, so I decided maybe I'll coach this fitness thing that I've been learning and studying about for the last 2 to 4 years. The easiest thing to do, and the only way I knew how to begin, was to get a certificate and just begin. The only way to start is to start, right? I had already been powerlifting for a year, I'd been bodybuilding for since 8th grade, I guess, lifting some type of weights, and then I've been coaching high school basketball under a very good mentor of my high school basketball for 2 or 3 years. I ended up doing that for 4 or 5 years, getting a great base of knowledge and how to communicate with people. Having the knowledge of the subject is one thing to be a good coach. How to relate to people is two, but then how to communicate and change your cues or work with different types of athletes, in my opinion, is the priority in how you become a good coach. I ended up getting a personal training certificate, some nationally qualified one, paid $1,000 or whatever it is, took the test, passed it, and then started working in a commercial gym. At the commercial gym, because I didn't really have another job at the time, and I stopped going to school about this time, I started training 7 days a week, training people, selling memberships, and then cleaning the gyms. My powerlifting got a little more serious. I tried every program I could find on the internet. Jim Wendler's 531 was very popular. I ran that for maybe a year. I did different methods that you could find on the internet. And so I started doing different things like Smolov. I ran that for about 6 to 8 months to 8 months. I did a different Shako a Shako program. And could do whatever I could to get stronger, faster, bigger. That was my goal now. I never wanted to compete in powerlifting. I didn't really know about the sport of powerlifting. I knew I was doing the power lifts, and I knew these were powerlifting programs, but I just wanted to get leaner, bigger, stronger, faster. I got my strength up decently. I pulled 525 pounds or so. I squatted about 500 pounds, and then I think I benched about 315 or so. One of my best friends, like I said, I grew up in a small high school, so all my friends were a really close-knit group. She was a figure and bikini competitor, but she got into the actual sport of powerlifting, and she was training at a gym called Super Training. I googled Super Training, and I had seen some videos on the internet, on YouTube, Super Training, by this guy Mark Bell and Jim McD. I didn't know much about them. I had also seen the movie Bigger, Stronger, Faster, but I didn't know they were correlated. But I knew that if I wanted to get better at this sport, I wanted to get stronger. Not even at the sport, because I had no plans to compete. I just want to get stronger for myself and to become a better trainer and coach, that I should probably get in this gym with top level athletes. Before I got to Super Training, I should even mention, I knew they trained Westside Conjugate. I didn't know that much about it. I knew the general topics, but I bought like 3 or 4 Louis Simmons books, and I read them top to bottom. So eventually I found time, and I rearranged my schedule to be able to train at Super Training 4 days a week. This is probably 2011, 2012. I was probably about 23, 24 years old. This is the first time powerlifting kind of became a sport to me. Everybody in the gym always competed. That was their goal. Mark was a world record holder in both single ply and multi-ply, squatting 1,000 pounds, benching over 800, and deadlifting 700 pounds, as well as other guys in the gym were all squatting about 1,000 pounds. For the first couple months, I just soaked in everything I could. I didn't want to become a bother. I still worked my tail off. My numbers were still going up, and I just soaked in everything I could. I would lift, and then I would just watch, listen, and learn. From this point, the nickname Silent Mike came about. A couple times, Mark invited me to squat with him on a dynamic effort day. Dynamic effort day is lighter weights lifted very quickly with very low rests. And Mark would just crush box squats. And I mean crush. Some of the most impressive shit I would ever seen. He would go And if the next guy didn't step up when it was his turn, Mark would go again. He would say, fuck you. Mark would get like 20 sets done while the other guys only got 10. So I tried to keep up with him one day. And I think I did pretty good. I don't know. I mean, he probably still beat me, but I just kept up as much as I could, worked my tail off that day, and then that's kind of, I guess, the ice broken, and I moved into it. Once I got to super training, everybody was competing, so I had to compete. I had to compete to be part of the team. I had to compete to be part of the community. It's not necessarily what I wanted to do. I didn't really urge to compete, to step on the platform, but you kind of have to legitimize yourself as a lifter and put it on the line. I competed 2 or 3, maybe even 4 times within 2-year span there at super training. My numbers were fine. First meet, I think I totaled 1370 or so. Next one was low 14s. And then my very last meet before this previous one about 2 years ago was a 15-16 total. The training at a commercial gym got pretty stagnant. It was kind of the same routine, the same people, and I felt wrong for how I was selling personal training to people. So I slowed down on my work there. I think I actually left at this point, unemployed for a couple of months. I knew Mark had something called the Slingshot. He had 0 employees. It was him and his wife. I didn't know that. I either texted him or called him up one day and said, hey Mark, we weren't close by any means. We talked. And we trained together almost every day at this point, I think. Said, hey man, I need a job. I just left my commercial gym. Don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not going to school. I need some work. If you needed some help, I would love to help. So I started going to Mark's house, his personal house, twice a week. And just packing slingshots. And that's kind of how it began. I mentioned all of these little details because every little detail of work, I think, builds your character. I'm literally in his garage, 100-degree weather, just packing slingshots into bags. Was that glamorous? Fuck no. Here I am, a personal trainer. You know, there's some personal trainers that make $100,000 a year. You know, I could have been making better money at this commercial gym, but I knew I had to do something different if I wanted different results. I didn't want to be stuck in that gym being just a trainer. Worked for Mark for a while. One day, him and Jesse Burdick had a seminar locally, and Mark just said, hey man, if you want to come listen, learn to the seminar, you can come like load weights and stuff. I said, yup, I'm in. Loaded weights, set up different bars, maybe even demoed a squat or something, but that's kind of where my real learning began. So Mark started taking me around to different seminars, introducing me to different top-level powerlifters and coaches in the industry, and same thing I did on the internet. I just soaked up everything I could. I would just listen, learn, absorb everything I could. Slingshot, podcast, YouTube, everything started to overwhelm me. Traveling to different expos, I got very busy, and I became more of a business than a powerlifter. Business kind of always is in the forefront of my head. I always want to progress. I always want to learn. I always want to do new things. And I knew, or I thought I knew, that being leaner, looking better in this industry would take me further. I fluctuated in weight a lot. I would lose a bunch of weight, not unhealthily or drastically, but I would lose weight to get tightened up to look better at these expos. But within the last year or so, I knew it was time for me to step back on the platform. I bulked up a little bit this last fall. Gained a little bit of weight, stepped on the platform again, this time in sleeves in the USAPL. I totaled 1603 or so by 590 squat, 363 bench, 650 deadlift. Since some persistence over a long period of time, heading in the direction of your passion, things will come to you. I've had a lot of awesome opportunities along the way, meeting awesome people along my journey, getting to do some awesome things in terms of traveling and YouTube and meeting a bunch of different people. I'm not a world record holder. I'm not remarkable. I'm not a freak. I'm not a stud. I'm not a beast. I'm not all these things that all these powerlifters want to be, and some of the top level guys are. I'm not. I'm an okay powerlifter. I've worked very, very hard, 10, 12 years, to get a pretty good physique. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not Phil Heath. I've built some solid muscle from a little bit above average genetics. But that's why I got into powerlifting. I got into powerlifting to grow mentally and physically. I didn't get into powerlifting in the gym to become the best powerlifter in the world, and neither do you. You can do it for whatever reasons or needs you think you need. Whether it's just to de-stress and you don't even care about the gains. All you care about is throwing away the rest of your day for an hour, plugging in some music, and getting some of that rage out. That's a great fucking reason. If you want to become more jacked and tan, that's a great reason too. it helps your confidence whether you actually gain inches on your arms or not. Just knowing that what you're capable of. Last week you deadlifted 225. 3 months from now you'll deadlift 250. That's a huge confidence builder. You can go in there all by yourself with a little bit of reading, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of hard work, and progress. Day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, you can mold and build your body and your mind how you want to. I'm still never going to probably be a world record holder. I'll never probably be Mr. Olympia. I'm Silent Mike. That's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you can take something from that. I just try to work hard. I try to lead by example. I try to learn and absorb everything I can along my way. I try to enjoy every single moment of it. And that's it, guys. Thanks to Omar for this opportunity to tell him my story. Telling you guys a little bit about me. Silent Mike. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys.